Yo, what is going down, everyone? This is OJ. Welcome to another PE Nintendo Switch video. Today, we've got some pretty good news for you for the nightcap, and we're getting right into The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So Nintendo's been releasing artwork and various different things as far as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, screenshots and all that good stuff. I love this. It reminds me of the Super Smash Bros. Brawl thing that they used to do, where every day they would release one new piece of information. This is a little bit toned down from that, but it's still some pretty cool stuff. And here we have a nice art mock-up of the original Legend of Zelda compared to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, with Link in the same kneeling pose with his sword, looking abound to the mountains and the beautiful scenery below, and a nice old school, style drawing. It just looks great. Just some differences that I wanted to point out. There are some birds kind of forming that formation as if they're flying for the winter. You have kind of like a train or boxes across the bottom there. Looks like a train. A little bit more smoke across what's going on there, some mist or some fogginess over there by the lake. Other than that, it's pretty similar, but I mean, overall, it's the same theme. Obviously, the new one is more detailed in the drawing than the original, but overall, I still think they both look amazing, and this is very smart what Nintendo is doing, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to pull from that old school fan base. They're trying to tug on those heartstrings of all those gamers out there that have maybe moved on from Nintendo. They're trying to reel them back in with doing stuff like this, because pretty much everyone remembers. If you were a gamer, you remember playing The Legend of Zelda at some point. Now, I know there's some of you who probably didn't play it, but most older gamers definitely remember booting up The Legend of Zelda for the first time on their NES and just being blown away with what you can do in that game compared to other games. So it's really smart that Nintendo is doing this, and hopefully they do get back a lot of those people that have left, in addition to their own fan base, but at the same time are looking for more out of Nintendo when it comes to their core IPs. And speaking of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's been a lot of contradicting stories here and there as far as when this game, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, will be released. At first, we all thought it was going to be launched once Nintendo delayed it for the Nintendo Switch. Then we started hearing some rumblings that it could be a summer release, Q2, and then you have a lot of people like Emily Rogers, you also have Laura K. Dale, and others who have came out and said, yeah, it's looking like a Q2 title, but not 100%. Now, at this point, Laura K. Dale has a news source that is telling her that it could be launched, or that it will be launched. So here's what she had to say on Twitter. Quotations: recently reached out to a NOA source who I have not used before, saying launch. Not sure why the disparity. So at this point, it looks like it's in limbo, but I think when you're starting to get these things that go back and forth, I think Nintendo is still deciding if the game is going to be ready or not. They're still working on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. There's still things that they're putting in. Maybe they're looking like, hey, this is going to be launched. Maybe they're not. They haven't hit their crunch time yet. So that's the reason why I think you're getting this. Some days it looks like, hey, we're going to be able to get everything done. Then other days are probably thinking, we want to add this in. So it really just all depends on the workload, what they're trying to put in, making sure that there's no bugs, testing it, all the different versions of the game, voice acting, all of that plays a factor into when it's actually going to be done. I don't think Nintendo is sitting there and saying, okay, it's going to be this release date and everything's done until then. No, it's like stuff changes dynamically. Game development changes dynamically. That's why you have so many different, as far as release dates that come out and then they end up getting delayed. The Witcher 3, that was delayed multiple times. Many games get delayed multiple times. Uncharted, it's not because they have just a set date and they know that's when it's going to be finished. Things come up and push the date back, or maybe even push it forward. Heck, who knows? So that's the one thing that we do have to realize here, guys, is that this is the dynamic thing. It could change. At some point, it could have been delayed further. At other points, it looks like, hey, it was going to be a launch title. So ultimately, it's just going to come down to when Nintendo actually just announces it, because something tells me even at the January 12th event, we still might not know when The Legend of Zelda launches. That's Nintendo for you, though. All right, guys, I'm moving on to the last topic here. We have some good news for the Nintendo Switch when it comes to Unreal Engine 4 once again. So an employee for Epic has came out and said that many Unreal Engine built games will be making their way to the Nintendo Switch. So Nintendo did get that support from Epic right after they revealed the system, Epic came out on Twitter, was like, hey, we're supporting the Nintendo Switch day one. Good stuff there. They're thrilled to be a partner and lining up with them to get Unreal Engine 4 games running on the Nintendo Switch. Now we have some new comments from Takayuki Kawasaki, the territory manager for Epic Games Japan. In an interview with the Japanese website Social VR Info, he mentioned that Switch does indeed support Unreal Engine, and there are actually a lot of titles coming that use the technology on Nintendo's console. This includes releases of already announced major titles and new games. Kawasaki indicated that he's hoping the Japanese console business picks up more steam from Switch's arrival. So we do know that Dragon Quest XI does use Unreal Engine 4. They did announce that already. That's coming to the Nintendo Switch. We do know that Tekken 7, the newest Tekken one, that one uses Unreal Engine 4 as well. Kingdom Hearts 3, that uses Unreal Engine 4, and we also have Final Fantasy 7 Remake, that also uses Unreal Engine 4. Those are all from Japanese developers, so it does seem like there is a little bit more of a shift for Unreal Engine 4 to the Japanese scene, and if it does do that, that's really good for Nintendo, considering that the Japanese home console market is kind of in a slump. The Wii U kind of started it, and the PS4 is continuing it, although it is picking up sales. It's still not as good as the Wii and the PS3 before that, and nothing has really even topped the PS2, or I don't think anything's even getting close to the PS2 when it comes to home consoles. So Japan desperately needs a bump in home console sales, and I think the Nintendo Switch, the way that it is a portable and it's a home console, is definitely the answer. If you are going to sell a home console in Japan, as far as getting a lot of sales, this is probably your best shot at it as far as making a true hybrid that can do both, that fits to more Japanese gamers' lives. So we'll see what happens, but I'm happy to hear that. But this right here definitely shows straight from the source, someone who actually knows as far as who's licensing out their engine and what it's being used for. He's saying that there's many games that have already been announced, and also games that are coming, new games that are going to be on the Nintendo Switch that use Unreal Engine 4. So that's definitely good all around, just so developers can get those ports out on that system, so there can be some parity, and Nintendo just gets more games because they have the adaptable engines like Vulkan, like OpenGL, and like Unreal Engine 4, which a lot of people are shifting to when it comes to third-party companies, and of course when it comes to big Japanese developers such as Square Enix, with multiple games from Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Dragon Quest 11 all using Unreal Engine 4. Hopefully this is a mark of a trend for Nintendo, and they continue getting these games, and we can really get a lot of them shown off at the event going down in January. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this one here. Make sure you hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips and tricks, and everything in gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys for the next video. Peace!